Alright guys, I wanted to do a quick video tutorial on how to get started with the walking cycle and then going into layer parenting. So this is how to do a walk cycle or a dance with nested animation. So remember, this was animation that happens in the symbols timeline and with a puppet. But let's go ahead and download the walk cycle start FLA, and then you want to open it up right away. These are just some previous student samples from years before. So your file should look something like this. You have the character already imported in here, and what we want to do is double click on this character so that we are in the symbols timeline. And you know that you're in the symbols timeline because it'll say scene 1, your symbol type, and then the name of the symbol. So I actually want to, okay, yeah, it's holographic, just checking. We want to box select everything here, and then you want to do right click, distribute to layers. This will allow us to be able to move this character like a puppet. So now all of the body parts are in their own layer here, as you can see. So before we start layer parenting, we want to go ahead and actually move these pivot points here from where they would actually be moving. So let's go ahead and grab our free transform tool. The head would not be rotating from the center, it'd be rotating from somewhere down here, so I want to make sure I move that dot to somewhere right there. The neck will rotate from there, that's totally fine. The torso does stay there. And then the arms are what we would need to move and rotate up. Now I can't see this one as well, but I'm assuming, oops, it's somewhere around there. And I'm going to do this one too. So again, we're just rotating these origin points where they would actually rotate from naturally. The hand looks fine. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, that's okay too. The legs need to be moved. And this one's almost giving you a little hint of where you want to move these towards. That one's set up right, that one's set up right. Cool. And then this one just needs to be adjusted. Alright, so it looks like all of the body parts have been adjusted so that the origin point is set to where our joints actually rotate from. Awesome. So now that that's done, I can go ahead and expand my timeline so that we can see all of the layers. And layer parenting is this graph looking thing up in your layers panel. So you want to click on that once. Now this is handy when we work in 3D too, because this is how we parent our models to be able to rig them correctly. So just know that the parent object will either be the torso or the hip, depending on how you want to, what you want to do in the animation. I'm just going to do the torso as the main parent. So we're going to connect everything towards here. But let's go ahead and start with this hand. Oh my god, and I just realized there's two hands. So we have to name some of these. So with this one selected, it's highlighted in my layers panel, so I'm going to double click here and do B for the backhand. I'm going to add B to everything that's going to be in the back. So double click so you can rename things. And then the leg, B. So we are adding B for all of the, oh wait, that was not supposed to have a B. Only this one. Okay, B, B, back ankle, You can also do left or right, so L or R. I just get confused with that because I don't know if I'm talking about my left or the character's left. Alright, so let's start with this backhand here. So we're going to connect the hand to this forearm here. So to do that, oops, you want to grab, click and drag from this hand little square here up to the back forearm square here. And you'll see that a line starts to connect to the forearm. Again, we want to work backwards, so this hand is actually the child of this object right here. That's called parenting. Okay, and so now we want to make this object the child of this object here. So there we go. I'm going to click on this back forearm, click and drag it to connect to the upper arm. So now these three are connected here, and now we want to connect the upper arm to the torso. So we're going to click and drag from the upper arm up to the torso. So as you can see here, we're working backwards. This is a child of this layer, and this is a child of this one. And then everything's going to be the child of the torso. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next arm. So that's my hand over here, and we want to connect it to our forearm, which is right there. So I'm going to click and drag up to the forearm, and then I'm going to drag this forearm up to the upper arm. And I don't know why I did that. Okay. Now this upper arm we're going to connect to the torso. So now you should have something that looks like this. Okay. The head is going to be connected to the neck. So I'm going to click and drag that. And then the neck is going to be connected to the torso. Alright, y'all. So that takes care of the head, the neck, and both arms. We want to come to the hip over here, and we want to connect the hip to the torso. Okay, now we're going to connect the foot. So this sneaker to the ankle. So sneaker to ankle, ankle to lower leg to leg thigh. And finally the leg thigh goes to the pelvis. Alright, let's do the same thing for this back one over here. So back sneaker to the ankle, ankle to the lower leg to the thigh, and then the thigh to the pelvis. And it looks like everything is connected. You can pause here if you want to see how everything is connected to the torso. If your torso does not look like this where everything's connected, you've messed up and you parented everything wrong. So you might have to go in there and fix your parenting here. Okay. Oops. Alright, and you know it's done right if you click on the torso and everything moves with it. I'm going to undo that really quick. Okay. I'm going to do a quick file save so that it saves your progress, and we're going to get into the animating portion next.